Alright, in today's quick video, we are talking about an Accusump. This is a 3-quart Accusump. Got it from a friend. And I'll go over the benefits and why we run them and all that fun stuff in a second here. To start off this video, I want to say that Jesse, my good friend Jesse, he's got an Eclipse GSX, probably know him. He was the one who introduced me to this whole Accusump thing. I'd never heard of it before, didn't really understand it. He explained it probably a year or two ago, and that kind of started the, I definitely want to do it. It's definitely on the list. It's a good insurance mod. So, what is an Accusump? This is a 3-quart Accusump, and how it works is it's pretty much an aluminum cylinder. There's an air piston in here, and there's 10 psi of air behind the piston, and there's 3 quarts of oil in here. So probably the piston, let's say, is over here somewhere, right? So you got your air up here, 10 psi, you got a gauge here, and you got this filled with oil. Now, I got a valve over there, which I kept because my buddy Dylan sold me this. You got your line, and I got a manual valve here. You could also go to an electronic one that you can set up where it automatically opens and closes with your ignition. You can get real fancy with it, how much money you want to spend. I did a roll cage mount. Guerilla Motorsports made these billet aluminum brackets for me. A lot of people mount it on the floor. There's whatever you want to do. So 3 quarts of oil in the sump, and you figure all this line, you're going to have more oil, more lubrication for the motor, also cooler oil temps. So one benefit is, before I turn on the motor, I open this valve. Now that 10 psi of air pushes the 3 quarts of oil into the motor. So you're pretty much wet priming the motor every time before you fire it up, which is great for maintenance, longevity, and just, engine life. Then you fire up your car. The oil pump creates, 40, 50, 60, 80 psi. You can see when I shut it off, I was at 50 psi. So that oil pump obviously supersedes the 10 psi of air in here, so it pushes that 3 quarts of oil back into the sump. So now you're sitting in the parking lot, the paddock, wherever, car's running. This is filled with oil from this, you got all the line here. You got a good 3-4 quarts of oil back here. Now, you're running on the track, you're going around corners, lefts and rights, elevation changes, your oil pressure is going to fluctuate. Your oil pressure and your oil volume is going to fluctuate. And that's where the sump really comes in. Say you're taking a high G corner, let's say a long right-hander, you'll watch your oil pressure drop. Now, with an Accusump, as soon as you start to lose oil volume and oil pressure, that sump automatically pushes whatever it needs, half a quart, 1 quart, obviously it varies, right back into the motor. So you always have oil around that pickup. Like I said, it's an insurance mod, a couple $100. You need, some fittings, you need some lines. I teed this off right on my oil cooler, and that is going right into the block. The closer to the block, the better. I'm sure there's numerous ways to do it, but that's pretty much it. Like I said, it's probably the best bang for your buck insurance mod for the oiling system on your motor. You can buy them in 1 quart, 2 quart, 3 quart. Obviously you can do all different sizes of lines. My oil stuff is all -10, so it just made sense to just do everything -10. And so then, now you pull in off the track, you're back in the paddock. What you do is, give the motor a couple stabs, build up that oil pressure, and close that valve. And then you shut off your motor. So again, it's something to get into a habit of, but I think it's totally worth it. I'd have to figure out the total cost for me. And yeah, it's just another mod to do to keep the oiling system of your motor happy.